Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Hi,
to the
friends.
stream. This is so anticipated. We want an all hands on deck conversation today. Oh my gosh, let's go,
Yes.
says Takashi. We're so glad
Yes.
you're here. Y'all, this is Space Horror. This came by request from someone in the Discord. We'll talk about the Discord in a second. And Sarah Ray Werner is here with us. Y'all, she's got some bona fides here for space horror. So I'm so excited to learn from Sarah. For context, if it's the first one of these that you catch, Sarah and I are both writers. We'll introduce ourselves on Fridays. We do these workshops. Sometimes it's just we gather and write together. Sometimes we're talking about a subject. Sometimes they're like learning. Sometimes they're like activities and writing prompts. Mainly, we're in process, I think is the name of the game. And we're so glad you're here. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the workshop briefly. We're going to give a few more minutes for people to come in. Sarah,
Yes.
do you want to tell us about yourself? I mean, listen, just context. Sarah and I go back to the Austin Film Festival. Sarah and I both have spent a great deal of our career writing dramatic podcasts, radio plays, shows, audio dramas. And Sarah is on their panel every year because she's such a boss. She's going to tell you why. And before I even knew who Sarah was, knew this face, knew this friend, I knew her podcast. It's called Girl in Space. Anyway, I don't know. This is a good one. This is a good one, y'all. Sarah, now your turn. You can tell us in your words about yourself.
So now I get to tell you how great you are, right?
Well,
Or wait,
I
okay,
mean,
I'll cover me real quick and then we'll get
yes,
to
cover
you
you.
and how amazing you are. Um this is great. I love the Friday morning talk of. This is like it's power. Hi, I'm Sarah Ray Werner. I am a writer and podcast editor and other things as well, living in the Midwestern United States. Yeah, I've been podcasting. I had a realization the other day that the Right Now podcast, my first podcast, is 10 years old. So I've been podcasting for a while now. And I'm just super excited. Space horror is a genre that I deeply love and never gets talked about. So let's. I'm very excited to dive in with you today. Now, Asa, this wonderful person next to me, who are you and why are you so amazing?
Well, it's the sweatshirts.
Oh, see,
I
makes
Yeah, that's really my biggest trait. I'm a writer as well. I wrote a series for Audible. It feels like a TV show. It's starring Stephanie Shu from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
so
It's called
cool.
Six Sermons. You can go listen to it. It's
It's
good.
so
I'm
good.
really proud of it. I write short stories. I'm on YouTube. I'm jamming. I'm learning. I'm writing. I'm submitting. I'm going to be publishing straight away. And like again, I love to learn, to talk about work. That's who I am. That's who I am.
Oh,
I used to be a journalist. I've done many types of writing, but now I'm writing short stories. Should we get into the workshop?
we should. First of all, though, I want to say I really appreciate what you just said about, we're diving in and we're learning by doing. Like, it's the best way that I learn. And I know a lot of people are hesitant to jump in because they feel like they don't know what they're doing or they're a little scared to start. Well, as common sense as this sounds, you can only start when you start. And so I would love for you all to start with us this morning. We're going to have a little overview of what space horror is. And then we're going to do I would encourage you to join us. We're going to do 2 writing exercises. And so, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really excited to share this with you today.
yeah. We're also going to talk about the sort of save the cat structure of
Mm,
horror. Save the cat is take it or leave it. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. I think in this case it's useful. And
me too.
so that we're also going to talk about that today. It's one of their archetypes of stories. So we're going to talk about the component parts. Anyway, without further ado,
Oh my
presenting.
gosh.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. It's loading. Stand by.
That's fine. Take your
Stand
time.
by.
We're here. We're here for it.
We're we're loading.
We're loading. We're loading. Loading is great. In
All
the
right.
meantime,
Yeah.
Asa had a wonderful banner across the bottom about your favorite horror video games. And I know it's not a horror video game, but I have my N7 Mass Effect mug with me today. Hashtag Husks. Just when I see one running towards me, gasping and screaming every time, it gets me every time. And then I shoot them all. So I've also been playing Dead Space lately, Dead Space, the remake. So if any of you have played Mass Effect, Dead Space, if you have another favorite, hey, there we go. If you have another favorite horror space video game, I know it's very specific, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, yeah. I know video games and horror go hand in hand. Takashi, I know you've been just like Asa, get with it.
Asa.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. You're really not. So there's a lot. Metroid Fusion.
Ooh, Metroid
Yeah.
Fusion, yes. Oh, you sent a video to the Discord about the horror elements of Metroid Fusion, I believe.
Yes.
I haven't watched it
Dread.
yet, though.
Dread in Metroid.
Yes.
All right, Sarah, kick us off. This is the
Yeah.
space horror writing workshop. Do you have control? You don't have control of the slides, do you?
No, but that's
But
okay.
okay.
That's fine.
Okay. I will do my best to work our way through the slides.
Perfect. Perfect.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Sarah.
All right. So we have a very fluid agenda. I think, like most things that Asa and I do, this is just going to be, really chill, really a really relaxed session. So we do, however, have an agenda, just so you know, we're not wasting your time. We're going to do some warm up yapping. Check. We did that. Very good, all. Now we're going to talk about space horror. Then we're going to do a little writing exercise. We're going to, if you're comfortable with it, have space for people to share what they wrote. And then we have a full-on story prompt. We'll do a writing sprint. And then if you want to, again, it's all optional. You are welcome to share a favorite sentence that you wrote from our workshop today in the Discord. So, we have a lot going on today, and I'm here for it.
I love it. I'm so here for it. Okay.
All right.
We spoke about this. I think Sarah gave you a rundown. And yeah, the idea is to take everything from this workshop into the future, for future projects also. So if you want to save this video, we're really going deep. Okay, Sarah, talk to us about the difference about space horror.
I had to think a lot about what makes space horror different. And it took a long time before it hit me. And that is, in most horror subgenres, so, the slasher, the ghost story, there's generally one main threat, right? It's like the theme of the horror piece. So you have maybe a slasher, a serial killer, maybe there's a ghost or a demon, a monster, some sort of creature. You can have psychological existential horror. You can have eldritch horror or cosmic horror, which often deals with an unknowable, unnameable eldritch god. And then you also have things like Jack Frost that are, the bad Jack Frost, that are possessed pumpkin, possessed doll, possessed snowman. You've got Chucky, you've got Annabelle. These are all singular foci, if you will. They're singular focal points for the horror narrative. They drive the conflict, they drive the characters to act and react, and it's generally just that one thing. I realize here, this is important. I left something out. Environment. And this is going to be important when we move on in a little bit. So there's, people stuck in, they're stuck on a ship and they can't get out, etc. So lots of different kinds. So
I think that gets us to here, really.
It gets us to here. And this is what made me think of it. And so in space horror, believe it or not, you're going to take one of those elements or more of those elements, and you're going to add in space. All right. Now, Sarah, you may be saying, space is a cheerful place. There's so many happy, hopeful space stories. Like, Sarah, I've seen E.T., I've seen Treasure Planet. Have you not seen Space Jam? WALL-E, who hasn't cried at WALL-E? However, there are also some things really inherent in space itself that are deeply terrifying. And I want to give full credit for this video. I really enjoyed, we have a little alien face. Thank you, Laura. I really enjoyed the video. If you've ever seen Overly Sarcastic Productions, they have a wonderful series called Trope Talks, and I am a big fan of the trope talks that the character Red does. Hello, Mateo. And so the character Red does a very good takedown of what is terrifying about space. And so that is what I'm going to show with you here on the next slide.
Okay, here we go. Ooh,
yes. So in opposition to, say, Space Jam, what's scary about space, and I'm going to just read this quote from the video because I thought it summed up everything so perfectly. So Red says, "Space is existentially disturbing. It hits that perfect balance of agoraphobia and claustrophobia. Space is so deadly that you can only survive in a shielded, pressurized, terrifyingly fragile vessel, usually cramped and disorienting. And outside that vessel is millions of miles of nothing. And the nothing really wants you dead. I love that
So
so
pure.
much.
So pure. It's like this screenshot just kind of covers it all.
This just yeah, I sort of built the presentation around this, and so, there's just a lot to be afraid of in here. Agoraphobia, claustrophobia. Agoraphobia is fear of open spaces, claustrophobia is fear of extremely small spaces. Often in a space horror, you have both happening simultaneously, and it's just very disturbing, or it can be very disturbing.
Right. You know, it
Yes.
makes me think of The Descent. Have you seen The Descent?
I
The
don't
one
know.
with it's like 8 women, they're on an adventuring trip and they go into caves, and it's not space, but just I watched that movie and I thought to myself, why aren't all horror movies just set in caves? You can take any story and put it in a cave and it's way scarier. And
Right.
I think the same is true of space. You know?
Yeah, it's just like cave horror is a little bit more of a niche genre.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know.
Just a little bit.
Just the same idea of like where the setting itself just is there's so much threat just in every space of the story.
Yes. Well, and you know what too? It really draws on if you think about other movies that like feel like I love the idea of Descent, which now I need to see. There's also like submarine horror, there's underwater horror, there's anywhere, and we'll touch on this in the presentation in just a few minutes, where there really is no hope of escape. And so,
Mm.
all right. So, what do we want to focus on about space? Like, what about space is scary? So, like we said, a threatening environment in which the body cannot survive. So, humans were not made for the void of space. There's extreme cold, it's close to absolute zero or 273 Kelvin. There's lack of oxygen. You can't breathe. Pressure. If you take off your space helmet and you are floating out in space, your eyes will boil out of your head. It's extremely radioactive. There's zero gravity. You have things like black holes that, in addition to being very powerful and dangerous, also are unknown. And we'll talk about that in a little as well. There's also asteroids that can smash through your tiny, vulnerable spaceship. And, also the fact that space goes on for actual eternity as far as we know. So, a lot of scary things there. Now,
So
as
many
I
scary
mentioned, there's
things.
just a lot of scary things. And honestly, there's probably even more things that I haven't like even thought of for this slide. This is
I
just what
like
off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, this is great.
These are
I love this thought that just came in. Aman Sharma, thank you for
Oh yeah.
sharing. Thank you for being here. Space horror is playing with the boundaries of
Mm,
the physical settings. Interesting. Yeah, that kind of
yes.
actually is a cool additional subtle idea here, that the intrinsic, not just danger, but liminalness
Yes.
of space introduces this extra element of terror and weirdness. Great,
I
great
love it. Well,
observation.
and honestly, when we get to our first writing exercise, that's exactly what we're going to be playing with is those boundaries in the physical space. So I love that. Can you go back one? Oh, thank you. Yep. Okay. Oh, sorry. Forward one. You guys, this is presenting over, I was going to say over Zoom, but this isn't Zoom necessarily. Basically, in addition to all those dangers, you're alone and no one can help you. And then there is also the possibility, and I think this is what draws me most to space horror. It's the sheer possibility. There's so many more unknowns I feel that can happen in space that can happen on Earth, which has been fairly well explored, excluding things like the Mariana Trench. But
Yes,
maybe
I
we'll do
love
deep
that.
sea horror in a future.
It's funny you mentioned that. I've been watching old horror movies with my kid, my 5-year-old,
Yes.
which ironically horror movies from the 50s are rated G, and we just
Oh.
watched Creature from the Black Lagoon. I bring it up because there's this great line where one of the scientists is like, "It's the water. We don't know. There's so much we don't know. It's just like space." You
Yes.
know?
It's
Uh,
so good.
Yes, Takashi, thank you for weighing in. Everyone, we really appreciate
Mhm.
your perspectives. And I know everyone's seen different movies, everyone's seen different books, so this kind of thing is great. Takashi Yi 88 says it also plays with the fragility of humans. It just emphasizes how powerless we truly are.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, it makes
mm.
me that sentence, Takashi, makes me think of how I feel in the ocean sometimes. We are just like, oh yeah, I am nothing, and space is so much bigger than the ocean. All right,
Actually, on
yeah,
that too. Have you seen Pacific Rim?
no,
The very first opening, I think it's the opening line in Pacific Rim, which is about giant monsters or kaiju who fight people in giant robot costumes, which is a lot cooler than you think it would be and a lot more well done. The very first line in that movie is, "We always thought that the biggest threats would come from space, and instead they come from under the sea." And, it's
that's cool.
basically yeah, it's very Lovecraftian. There's an undersea, like, portal to another dimension that these aliens are coming through and stomping on our cities, so it's incredible. So, yes, close ties.
Okay, I want to speak about this save the cat
Yes.
template, but my instinct here is to save it. So because
Oh,
I
okay, are
think
you sure?
yeah,
Okay.
let's because it's a little more conceptual, and I love how we're
Mm,
just kind of wading into this world of space horror right now. And I think that maybe after we've talked about more examples, that an analytical kind of breakdown will land better. Yeah. So
I think that's perfect. I think that's
environment.
perfect. Alright. So, just straight up, we've been talking about this a little bit, but I also wanted to provide you with some, like, concrete examples. So, these are gonna be space horror/thriller, slash thriller, things with concerning elements that maybe terrify some of us. These movies are going to all focus solely on that one threat, the environment of space. So, classic example, I don't know if it's old enough to be considered classic, but Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock. An astronaut is out in space, vulnerable to the elements, and there is, what do you do in that situation? So, yes, that's
Yeah. Get you queued up. All right, more. Yeah, The
perfect.
Martian. Okay, classic also. Recent classic.
Yes. A lot of recent classics. I feel like sci-fi has had, like, post early 2000s and on, I feel like, I don't know, a good sci-fi resurgence. I don't know if that's due to, I don't know, Sci-Fi Channel making amazing movies like Sharknado, but who knows? So yes, the environment being a factor, Matt Damon, who I can only ever think of as Matt Damon, um, lands on Mars and is just it's sort of in high school, maybe you learned about different types of conflict in a story. This is man versus environment. Just like Sandra Bullock in Gravity, Matt Damon has to survive against the elements. So there's no aliens, there's no zombies, there's no Cthulhu priests or monsters coming out of space. There is just Matt Damon surviving against the inhospitable realm of space. Ooh, I like this. Laura has a good comment.
Yeah. Lore Huntress, there's something very primal about space horror,
Mm,
similar to how they say we are all made of star stuff. The protagonists are lost in the cradle of creation and anything can happen. Whew,
I love
goosebumps.
that. I kinda wish I had that on a slide.
I know, right?
It's so
Write
good.
it down, write it
I'm
down,
just gonna
everyone.
scribble that down. Oh, that's great,
Anything
yes.
unknown can come out of the dark. Yes, and there is
Yes.
nothing darker than those black holes and
Oh,
other space dangers.
I
All
love it.
right, here we go. Writing tips. How many ways can you other your other? Right. So, in addition to these examples, we've injected this presentation with kind of some larger, like, writing ideas to connect to these examples. And I think this thought, as much just a generative brainstorming thought than any kind of tip, is that there's so many ways that you can make an environment scary. Per your
Mm,
point, Laura, about anything unknown can come out of the dark.
love it.
These are other writing tips we'll come back to. Okay, black holes. Nice
Cool.
transition. Here we are, Interstellar.
Yes. Yes. So Interstellar, not a horror movie, but it does have one of the best models of a black hole that I think is in all of media. Like it's a unnecessarily accurate model of how a black hole works. And black holes in and of themselves are very terrifying. They are places where a star has collapsed and the immense gravity and pressure are enough to actually pull in particles of light. Yes, light is, We've talked, well, we haven't talked about this, but the waveform particle light thing, we won't touch on that here. But black holes can actually suck in light. And I mean, what is more terrifying to the human experience than the absence of light? Something that can actually create negative light. It's sucking in the light. And it can also suck in people, as you've seen probably in several movies and TV shows. Black holes are very popular for getting rid of villains. Just throw them in the black hole. And also, they distort space and time. So there's a lot of possibilities narrative wise around a black hole. You can, and there's a great example of this in Interstellar. The movie plays with themes of time and dimensions and going back and seeing your past self, future self, etc., using a black hole. So you can
Yeah,
use that for a lot.
and the potency of something like a black hole, because we don't really understand it yet, is that you can just map more ideas on it. So if you haven't seen Interstellar, there is an alien presence in this movie, just identified as like the they, and it's essentially through the black hole that they communicate, to the protagonist. And I'm blanking. Who plays that? Who's our star in that movie?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, who communicates to Matthew McConaughey. So you have like the black hole kind of serves as this conduit. It's almost anthropomorphized in that film. And,
Ooh.
when we don't have any science about something, you can kind of do anything you want and get away with it. And we still don't know anything about space. We can't even decide if light is a particle or a wave. I mean, just the gaps in our knowledge are immense. DL, Dana, welcome.
Yes.
Just some shout outs here. There's a lot of writers on here. Dana is on YouTube. You can find her there. Late to the party, but Outer Wilds is a space game with a bunch of horror elements. All the ways you die over and over, not to mention the anglerfish. The DLC is very horror forward. Yes, I think this just affirms what we're saying. There's no shortage of ways to die in a space movie, and they're often very inventive and unprecedented.
Yes. So, looking at that horrifying nightmare of an environment that is inhospitable to human life and most other types of life, perhaps silicon life forms excluded, what else do you want to feature in your space horror? So, horror relating to space, perfect. But what else? You can feature anything else, and we'll get into that in 1 second here. But you don't have to. So you can just have space horror that is purely about the horrors of space itself. That counts as space horror. But one of the fun things you can do is inject another element in there. Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Different spaces. Yeah, from black holes, I remember. So Arrival, right? Not exactly a space film. Actually, well, okay. I would say it maybe has some space resonance. It's quite a of different spaces. Oh, I like this. I like playing around with the idea of space being both limited and completely boundless at the same time. I think there's something really rich there that we can like play with and mine out of that.
Yeah, I love that. And I think later you're going to talk about how so many space movies are actually earthbound.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're going
I
to talk
am.
about that.
Although I don't have Arrival, even though it's one of my favorite movies, I don't have Arrival in as a slide. So thank you for bringing up Arrival. It's very good. All right, either space or the other element can be the main threat, but they can and or should complement and complicate each other. And that's where the fun comes in, I think, with a lot of space horror. It's not just the fact that space is fun and zombies are fun. It's the fact that the zombies are chasing you and you can't go anywhere because you're in space and there's nowhere to go and there's no one to help you. It just adds a little bit of extra pressure and conflict and complication onto your existing horror story. So
I love this. Yeah, this is hot. This is hot. I love this kind of story theory and structure, right? Compounding conflicts. It doesn't just trouble the protagonist, it troubles the other conflicts. And it's just, yes, I love this conception of space horror. Okay.
You want to talk about this one?
Should we just take a moment of silence to honor? It's just, this movie is just so foundational. Yes, okay. Here we are with Alien and the Alien franchise. Okay. Thank you, Ridley Scott. All right. Go on, Sarah.
If you go to the very end of the presentation, which you don't have to do, there is a appreciation slide at
Oh,
the very,
great.
very bottom. But maybe we'll hit that later if you don't want to go through. So yeah, Alien, and then we have Aliens, and then Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, etc. These are all very classic, just like Asa was saying, very fundamental double horror. And so you have Susan Sarandon, who plays Ripley, is in space in a little fragile, vulnerable ship. And there is actually, it's kind of like, well, okay, we won't talk about Ian Holmes' character, but um, Sarah, no, what? There is, oh, Sigourney Weaver. Thank you. Why did I say Susan Sarandon?
See,
Did it,
this is
see, this
why
is why you need to
you're
be here.
yes.
You need to be
Yes.
here. Thank you, Sigourney
I could just
Weaver.
imagine someone on the replay getting to the Susan Sarandon, done,
Just
I'm
shut it
off,
down.
no credibility. Moogie, if they stuck around for your comment, then they stuck around.
Thank you. Thank you. Sigourney Weaver. Sorry, I've got a lot of space horror movies rolling around in my head right now, but I shouldn't have forgotten that one. So yeah, Sigourney Weaver is out in space with her team. And there is not only the threat of space, there is also, dun dun dun, something on board the ship. It is, you know what? Okay, yes, thank you. Susan Sarandon would be a choice to play Ripley. You know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, and DL Pitchford brings up something so good here too, the emphasis on motherhood as horror perfection. So there's a lot going on with Alien. So you've got space equals scary. You have big, slimy, toothy, horrifying, inhumane monster equals scary. But Ridley Scott achieves something here that's wonderful. In addition to, having these two scary things juxtaposed and complementing and complicating each other, he also weaves in some truly beautiful themes about what it means to be human. There's an android character that comes as a surprise. If I'm spoiling a 40-year-old movie for you, I'm sorry. Um, there are themes of motherhood. I love that. And that especially comes through in Aliens, which is the sequel. Not so much in Alien 3, but I won't go into that right now. But the aliens are identified as, I don't know about the xenomorph like the regular one, but there is a queen, and the queen is laying eggs, and the eggs are hatching. And yes, there is a beautiful theme of motherhood here too, creation in the void. There's a lot going on. There's a reason this movie has held up, and there are so many sequels, for better or for worse.
Yeah,
Anything else that we should add about? And do you want to talk about, you want to go back to that Save the Cat
yeah,
slide?
the Alien is an iconic example of that. And yeah, I just want to thank you as well, DL Pitch, for just motherhood has just
Yes.
emerged as this like exciting subgenre of body horror. I'm thinking of Huesera. If for
Oh,
my Mexicans in the thread, how y'all doing? I know Mateo, you might be there, and Takashi. But Huesera is this like hit indie film that came out of Mexico 2 years ago, and that literally translates to like Bone Lady, and it's this really exciting body horror film about this woman who's pregnant and is not exactly happy about it. And it's just sort of this riff on like expectations of women. Just that was a quick aside. Yes,
I
let's
love it.
turn to Save the Cat horror movies. And I'm just going to scoot back to that
Perfect.
because Alien is a fantastic example of the Save the Cat horror template. So, Save the Cat, it started whatever 30 however many years ago as a guide to screenplay. It has that very prescriptive set of beats. I think it's 17-15 that make up any good screenplay. The franchise evolved. We have Save the Cat writes a novel, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I think these kind of templates are limited. However, they're helpful and they have a place.
Yes.
So in the Save the Cat writes a novel, the writer articulates 10 different types of story genres. So you have like the road trip movie, or like, person gets person, boy meets girl, etc. These are archetypal types of stories. And the myth is the horror template, according to Save the Cat. And the
Mm,
MITH stands for Monster in the House. And
nice.
essentially, this book makes the case, and in my subsequent kind of research, I feel like it holds up. Essentially, you can kind of map this onto any horror film, and Alien is a perfect example. So, going through those, monster in the house, let's start there, is a confined, isolated setting. Sarah, we've already talked about how space is intrinsically that. So, in Alien, you've got this crew on a ship, right? The monster is the alien. Say no more. We know what this terrifying alien looks like. The sin. And this is really where kind of we understand why we love horror movies, why we're going to watch them. And Alien helps us understand this. The sin is a moral transgression that invites the monster. This sin makes the horror personal and karmic. In the event of Alien, what you have is you have these greed. The spaceship is, they're just driven by greed,
Mm.
right? What's the exact circumstance? They're trying to like mine another planet. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, but there's also like ulterior motives that Ian Holmes' character, who is the android, he has ulterior motives about what he's really subjecting the space crew to in terms of, being hosts for this alien xenomorph creature. So yeah, there's a lot of sins and they feed upon and layer upon each other, I think.
And what I like about Alien is that it's not like the dots are not explicitly connected. You know,
Right.
it's not like a sort of more allegorical piece of gentrification horror like Barbarian, which I like. I like the first half of that movie a lot. I don't. I think there's a place for that kind of allegory, but for most horror movies, it's just kind of working under the surface. Jaws is another perfect example of
Mm,
this. You have the mayor who wants to keep the town open even though it's dangerous. This is a sin.
yeah.
You get a shark out of it. So, anyway, just wanted to share this little bit of screenwriting, novel writing theory. Okay, going back to the presentation.
Yes.
Best tagline of all time.
I this is so iconic because it touches on a few things, but I wanted to showcase this because we have identified here two different types of horror. So in space, which is a horrifying place, no one can hear you scream. So it's horrifying. You're alone, you're in space, you're vulnerable, and what the heck is making you scream? And that's such a good hook for the movie. It's like it's space dot 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 and something else. And I love that that is such a good, I don't know, it's such a good template maybe for space horror.
Yeah, no, I mean, you come up with a tagline like this. I mean, it makes me think of Dirty Dancing, the movie. There's this, it could be
Yes.
apocryphal, but there's like a rumor that whatever studio made that movie like bought it based on the title. Someone came through with like, "Hey, I wrote a movie called Dirty Dancing." They're like, "Okay, here's 100
Green
grand.
light.
Like,
Yes.
we'll take it." And yeah, you throw this on a poster, thousands of posters. Like, I don't know, people are going to go see that movie.
Good. It's good marketing. Good.
Oh, Alien! Oh, the chair from Beyond Space. Did you put this in for me?
Yes, Ace is laughing because he didn't know I put this in here.
Oh my God, what a surprise. I love this. Okay, y'all. So as I said, me and my 5-year-old, he's always like, Papa, I want to watch something violent. That's always his request. It's not on some like, I want to watch Snow White again. He's like, I want to watch something violent. And so we've had to kind of steer him from contemporary violent films because he just like goes nuts for hours. But incidentally, old horror movies kind of hit this sweet spot where it's like lots of scares and stuff, but they don't make him crazy. One of these films is called It, The Tear from Beyond Space. As you can guess from this poster, this is a very old movie. This is 1933. And I
Wow.
think there's a lot to say here. I think kind of briefly from a writing point of view, which is kind of generally good writing advice around monsters, is restraint
Mm.
in revealing the monster has such a payoff in both this
Oh,
film and Creature from the Black Lagoon. As soon as we start seeing them, they kind of look like a man in a monster suit, and it just kind of it's tough, but fun old movies. Yeah, just generally, old space movies are cool because they tap into the fundamentalness of this genre, which is like 1933. We're almost like 100 years old. it's the same stuff. We don't understand space and we want to understand it. Aman, please drop in your discords. Yes, we'll do that shortly. To get the link to the Discord, there's a 3-question welcome survey. I'm going to put that link in shortly. All right, Sarah, I'm going
Perfect.
to cue you up with the next slide.
Wonderful.
Here we go.
Well, one thing, actually, could you go back just one second? You
Yeah.
brought up something that I don't have in this presentation that is absolutely necessary when looking at alien movies, monster movies, anything like that, regardless of whether they're set in space or not. You talked about restraint with your monster. I have seen the way that we are first exposed to the xenomorph and alien is a beautiful reveal. And here I will also share. There we
Folks
go.
can open links, right? That's a thing,
Yes,
right?
in the comments. I believe they can open links in the comments. And there's one out on Twitch for you watching on Twitch as well. But yes, the reveal of the alien, when you reveal it, what kind of props, what kind of suit, what kind of computer generated imagery you have, and what restraint you have in working with that. It's going to be a little bit different in a visual medium than it is in a audio or a written medium. If you're writing in prose, I think you have a little bit more that you can get away with. But I always I reference the X-Files, especially the early seasons of the X-Files, where they are very sparse with alien details because of their budget. They didn't have a huge movie budget. It was a TV show. And they make do with a lot of shadows, mysterious lighting, and really good decisions about when to reveal and what to reveal. So
yeah, just just can't that piece of horror writing wisdom, just you can't even say it enough times. Like what's behind the door is always scary.
Oh,
I think that's a king
that's
adage.
very good.
And there's just
Because
so
then
many
once it's
ways that
out,
applies. Right.
yeah. Well, going back to what I think it was it Laura who said this earlier? Part of what's so tantalizing about space horror and about horror in general is the unknown. And once you put that big floppy monster costume, yes, thank you. Laura says anything unknown can come out of the dark. Once you show viewers, if it's a movie, your it costume, and you're like, oh, that's literally a dude in a suit, and I can see the zipper in the back. It just flattens any tension and really takes away from the power of the story that you're telling. So yes, use restraint with the monsters. Possibility is always more vivid than directly showing us. So Pandorum. Oh, yes. DL Pitchford says the vagueness and the unknown is what makes it scary. Yes, because fear and the unknown are so tightly related. We're afraid of things just by instinct. We're afraid of things that we don't understand because we don't know if they can hurt us, if they're going to kill us, etc. So I love that. I haven't seen Pandorum in a long time, but from my recollection, it is the threat here is not necessarily aliens. The threat here is a corrupt corporation who is sort of driving this arc-type ship to a faraway planet to do some mining. And yes, psychological horror and space horror, they get along really well. We're actually going to talk about that too in just a second. So yeah, there's humans in the story. So you can just have normal humans in your space horror movie. They can be the threat. If it's a serial killer, if it's a slasher, if it's in the case of Pandorum, if it is cannibals, mutants, whatever, very valid.
Just want to hop in for folks
Yeah.
who don't know Sarah and I. In addition to these Friday workshops, there are 2 story clubs that y'all should know about. If you're a horror fan, we are reading short stories from this anthology of short stories called The Dark Descent every Thursday at the same time. It's been a lot of fun. And also want to let you know about the science fiction story club that Sarah and I run on Wednesdays. So if you're jamming with this horror workshop, subscribe, join these story clubs because it's the same kind of analysis and it's great. So
yes,
let's
love.
see. Laura Huntress, your quote has been added to my commonplace book.
It's so good.
Love when the bad guy is a corporate, always.
Well, and that's like especially in like 80s family movies and space, science fiction movies. Corporation as bad guy, classic. We love to hate on capitalism.
Yes,
So
yes, we do.
I touched on this briefly, but you can have serial killers in space. Do not watch this movie. We could go past that pretty quick. There's also more than anything else, at least out of what I've seen, there's a lot of zombies portrayed in space horror. For whatever reason, we love the idea of mixing dead, undead, and space. So Serenity is the spin-off movie from a popular sci-fi series called Firefly, and it has these things called reavers, which are essentially cannibalistic zombie type things. I know they're technically still alive, but they act like horror movie zombies, which is why I've classified them as such. Again, zombies and video games. If any of you have played Dead Space, this is the poster for the remake, which I am currently playing right now. Has a lot of has a lot of, I guess, technically zombies. There's a special sort of zombie that is a body that has been reanimated and you're not sure how. These humans have been turned into zombies that have like giant claw leg things. They're very scary, and the only way to kill them in this game is to shoot their limbs off. So kind of a fun twist on that. So body horror there as well. You also have zombies. I mentioned this a little bit earlier in Mass Effect here. So I've got my Mass Effect mug for the Husk zombies in Mass Effect. All
The
right.
mugs. Your mug game is so strong, Sarah.
I have Tim, my husband and partner Tim. Every time I get a new mug, he's like, "Okay, we're gonna have to break one of your mugs so that there's room for this one." So I try to have restraint with mugs, but also I have no restraint with mugs. So asteroids. So in outer space, if you think, what, really? Okay, sorry, I had to like pause for a second because Lore Huntress says there's an X-Files episode written by Legati.
Whew, whew. Amazing.
Okay, wait, see, this is my ADHD. I just like immediately went to my browser. I'm not going to research this on stream. I will get to enjoy that later. So focus, Sarah.
If you know who Thomas Legati is, be on the heads up. This is an amazing horror writer. Yes. We are doing a story club about him shortly. Asteroids, here we go. Talk to us about asteroids.
Yeah, so asteroids are basically giant rocks flying through space. They are, I think part of the appeal of them is they are large and unstoppable, and they have no mind of their own. If you think about, oh, they never filmed it, it's just screenplay. Okay, thank you, Lore. In Armageddon, there is an asteroid headed toward Earth. We also have a history as a species with asteroids. If you will remember the humble dinosaur, which millions and or billions of years ago, entire species, I think it was 75 or 85% of all the species on the planet were wiped out by an asteroid crashing into Earth. And so this has happened in our past, and the possibility that could happen again is terrifying. It's never filmed. It's called Crampton. Can we like read this for a story club coming up and like talk about it?
Well, and yeah, if we can track it down, we can do like a staged reading. We can get actors. I don't see why we wouldn't. Just another opportunity here to plug Sci-Fi Story Club because it's it's on Reddit. Yes. Because it's all coming together. One thing the very first story from this fiction anthology, the short story anthology, is called The Star by H.G. Wells. And let me just read you a quick sentence from this intro. The Star, as with much of Wells' science fiction, is credited with creating a subgenre, in this case, the impact subgenre, as of some object falling from the sky onto Earth. So I'm loving this because dots are being connected here. Sarah, I'm so glad you included this in the presentation.
Oh, I love it.
Why not?
So I included this one. John Carpenter has created and made many good movies. This is not one of them. But I'm including this one because you can put your horror tropes in space. We saw there's zombies, there's ghosts, and then the next one I believe the next one lined up here. Oh, no, never mind. I thought my vampire slide was next. Okay, never mind. You can also have vampires in space. Also, don't see Dracula 3000. Just don't see it. But yes,
I'm
ghosts,
loving all the movies we shouldn't
demons.
see. This
Yep.
is so appreciated.
We'll do a presentation with a slideshow later of movies you should never see, and this will be on it. So
Okay.
it's really
Mateo,
bad.
Mateo, I think you might have been gone when we talked about Huesera. Have you seen that? Just curious. Throw that in the comments if you have.
Oh yeah.
Onward. Insanity, psychological
Yes.
horror. Here we are.
Right. So we're getting into the psychological side of things, and this is in space. Going back to even that alien tagline, in space, no one can hear you scream. There's a lot of social stuff for human beings, which is probably the most vague thing I've ever said, that deals with how troubling it is as a species for us to be isolated or alone. We need community. We are a communal species. We need the visuals going on are sick though. Yes. There is so much psychological horror that takes place in space. If you've never seen Moon, I even feel like Interstellar kind of plays with the sanity bit a little bit. But having a character isolated, I mean, I'm even thinking of Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. Humans in isolation are terrifying and fascinating. And if we don't have other people to connect to, those thin threads of sanity tend to break down very easily. So Silent Running is, I don't know why I saw it, but everybody kills each other. And then just one guy is left. The end. You don't have to see that one. Mouthwashing is another video game. If you haven't played this one, severe content warnings for basically every horror thing you can think of. It has psychological horror at its center, though, with a close follow-up of body horror. So yes, it is a lot of people trapped on a damaged spaceship. They don't know how long they're going to live. They are running out of food and supplies. You know, proceed from there. They go insane. All right, finally, the unknowable. This ties in, I think, a little bit with psychological horror, but Event Horizon is, I think, it's one of my favorite, like, Lovecraftian cosmic horror. So cosmic horror is literally space horror, cosmic horror. It's a horror on a large scale. So it's not an alien or a zombie coming after you. It's something that is beyond your comprehension. We did a story club a few weeks ago on The Call of Cthulhu by Lovecraft. Yes. And just thinking about what it means to have something that is unknowable. So in Event Horizon, this incredible machine that I keep thinking of as Dr. Grant. He has a name. It's not Dr. Alan Grant. It'll come to me later. I love the actor. As you can tell, I can't remember his name. He builds this machine and it opens up portals/wormholes into what is alluded to as being actual hell. And so Event Horizon is the incomprehensible, the unknowable, and also body horror. And it's in space, you can't escape it, etc.
Classic.
All right. So, okay, this is something we brushed on earlier. Your space horror does not actually have to take place in space. So, some of my favorite horror films take place on. Thank you, Sam Neill. Man, Moogie, you are just here for me. You're just here for me today. Thank you, Sam Neill, Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. He's the opposite of a Matt Damon. Matt Damon, I only ever see him as Matt Damon. Alan Grant, I see as Alan Grant. Okay. Let's see. So we'll go through these a little bit more quickly. I don't want to like spend 10 hours because I will, because I have a problem. But as far as space horror movies that take place on Earth, we've got the alien invasion sort of subgenre, which touches on our fears of inevitability and very similar to actually being out in space because we can't necessarily escape the planet and the whole planet is doomed.
Nice.
There's still nowhere to run. And so we see some echoing themes there. Also in Cloverfield, the threat is from space. It is one of my favorite space monster movies. Oh, yeah, I love it. Independence Day is a very similar premise. Aliens come in and invade Um, in this one, I wanted to focus on it because it's a little less of a horror. This is more of like a fun comedy adventure movie. And basically, it takes the Cloverfield, and instead of like, oh no, we're all doomed, humans decide to fight back, and there is a war. And so then we have the drama of war elements in our alien invasion movie.
Yeah, I
And
just want
again,
to
oh yeah,
engage with Mateo's comment here.
oh yeah.
Mateo Leon Rodriguez, also on YouTube. This is another writer here. I
Mm,
hadn't thought of space horror as being able to take place on Earth, but that's probably me being a biased human. Laughing emoji.
no,
I honestly, this is actually really legit,
this,
Mateo, and I
yeah.
think that this really touches on the evolution of space horror. Where in Story Club we saw, iterations of stories where the alien POV. I mean, we really get into this, like with Predator. I think Predator, like the iconic example of this, where it is the monster's story, and so I'm glad you brought
Mm.
this up because that is a whole nother subgenre or like angle of space horror is monster POV space horror.
Yeah. Well,
So
I was putting together this presentation,
yeah,
and I
there we are.
had, oh, look
Yeah,
at
go
this,
on, go
Asa.
on.
You knew. I love it. I was putting together this presentation and like putting all of my favorite space horror movies, and I was like, why do literally none of these take place in space? And
Mm.
so I that's why I really wanted to spend time exploring this side of things. So Asa just covered this on Earth. There's alien invasion. What I like about Predator is it's very one-on-one. What is the name of the story where the main point of view is alien spiders? You're not talking about the conquest of Gola, are you?
Moogie knows. Don't worry, it'll be in shortly.
Okay, help us out here. Um, so yeah, we talk about scale. So we've talked a little bit about, the bounds of space. We've talked a little about being on a little tin can floating in space. That's your ship. I like Predator because not only is it just groundbreaking in a lot of ways, Predator is also a very small scale story. It is, well, it doesn't start off this way, but it ends up being one person, one monster. It is deeply intimate and personal. The relationship between these two, the hunted and the hunter, our focus is very zoomed in. And I think that's such a smart way to do a space horror movie. Again,
Yeah,
and same with Alien. It ends up being Ripley and the xenomorph.
that's a really cool insight. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the Predator. I haven't seen all those movies, but the franchise at some level seems to have stuck with that. In that penultimate one, there's the new one, Prey.
Oh, it's so
Super
good.
that. Yeah,
It's
that's a
so good.
really. Amon says the new Predator is doing that with Anna Taylor. I'm
I
not
didn't
sure if
even know
that's
they were
exactly what you're
making.
referring to, Amon, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I didn't actually know they were making a new Predator until this morning when I went on to Letterboxd and I got advertised. I was like, I didn't even know they were making this. So yeah, there's a new Predator coming. Watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, Children of
Uh,
Time.
okay. Spider POV is Children of Time. DL
Tchaikovsky.
Pitchford, The Thing is another space horror on Earth, and there's even an
Oh,
X-Files episode based on the same novella.
why, yes, there is.
All right.
I'm hoping the next slide is
Oh my God.
yes.
These transitions. Okay.
DL Pitchford, you knew. We're here on the same wavelength. So we have alien invasion. So we had a one-on-one story, we had war. Now we have alien invasion. I've classified this one under body horror because that's really what stands out to me. We've got some Cronenberg-like effects. We have Wilford Brimley. We have people exploding. We have things crawling out of places. It's beautiful. It's terrible. It's wonderful. The Thing is, I think, absolutely must see horror. Be sure also that you see the version of with Kurt Russell and maybe not the newer remake. This is a movie that did not need to be remade. This is the John Carpenter movie you should see instead of Ghosts of Mars. Um, the Thing also taps into an earlier when a lot of these early stories were being written, there was during the Cuban Missile Crisis and even before that, a fear of people being invaded, a fear of not trusting and understanding your neighbor, especially with things like the Red Scare and McCarthyism. And this movie brilliantly plays with those themes where you literally don't know if you can trust the person that you're isolated with, the person you're next to, not to kill you and to be not to be who they say they are. Yes,
Takashi says if anyone can fact test it, I know there's a Mexican
there
movie called.
is.
Are you talking about El Santo? Or is this something different?
No, this is a black and white movie. I've seen this one.
Is this the one with the luchador though? Or is this different?
I I don't think so,
Samson.
but
Oh, this is different then. Okay, 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 okay.
yes.
Tell us
I
about this movie, Sarah.
so I've only seen it. So if any of you are big Mystery Science Theater fans, that's where I am exposed to a lot of movies I would not otherwise see. Samson versus the Vampire Women is one of them. If you go out to Mystery Science Theater has a YouTube channel where they stream for free all of their Mystery Science Theater episodes. Basically, it's live commentary by snarky robots on terrible movies, of which one of them, Samson versus the Vampire Women, is.
Okay. Yes, it is about El Santo. So yeah. So
Is it? Okay.
I guess that that's a whole realm of movies of like pulp. Here in Mexico, side note, there is this whole like luchadors. There's all these movies that were made of famous luchadors, and a lot of them are kind of horror adjacent, where it's the luchador fighting in space against vampires, etc. DL Pitchford, I watched the thing for the first time like a week ago, and it was so good. I'm obsessed. I mean, it really is a special film.
Yes.
Because the horror is working at so many different levels. In a way, you have survival horror. It's set in this like Arctic environment. You've got the alien itself, and then yes, you've got people turning on each other in kind of iconic Lord of the Flies type. It just gets dark and bad, and it all works so well together. And I feel like it's hard sometimes maybe to get all the elements working in conjunction,
It is. And that's really what's
Otherwise,
special
you just
about
get
this
like
movie.
Ghost on Mars, and you're just like, okay, well, there's ghosts in Mars, but these are not working in tangent. Mateo Leon Rodriguez, the thing kind of taps into something I'm seeing a lot on the internet: doppelgangers, skinwalkers, even though skinwalkers aren't even the right word.
And it's due to a lot of social factors, people suddenly feeling like they can't trust each other. We won't get into why exactly here, but it can be scary to be in a community with people that you can't trust. It's very isolating.
These comments are ready-made transitions
Oh,
of
I
where
love
we're
it.
at.
I love it. Speaking of, this one, okay, I put this one in here even though I haven't seen it. I put it in here because it is iconic, very similar to The Thing and maybe a little less gross. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is an alien invasion where people don't know if their neighbor is really their neighbor or if it is something else just acting like them. It delves deep into themes of paranoia and mistrust, sort of like The Thing, but on a bit of a bigger scale.
Okay. Appreciate the fact checking here.
Oh my gosh, Moogie, you're amazing.
Santo contra las mujeres vampiros, yes, is the original. The character of Santo was also in the cult classic Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. I mean, talk about a career. He's also the greatest luchador of all time. I actually made an ESPN podcast documentary about El Santo and got
Did
to
you really?
Yeah, I got to meet the daughter of the director who did all these movies. And she has this like archive, like little cottage outside of Mexico City with these ancient film reels. It was magical stuff.
Oh my God.
Yes, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I want to say this is based on the novel.
Is it? See,
Ira Levin, the same person who wrote The Stepford Wives.
I was supposed to say that's Stepford Wives and Rosemary's Baby. Is that correct?
I mean, this dude knew how to make a movie or write a book that would make a movie. I want to say he wrote that. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But anyway, it makes me think of Ira Levin.
Okay, so we're almost done with this list. I promise. I know this is going a little bit long. This is just in here. It's a little silly. But also we had a whole workshop on writing Christmas and holiday horror. This one also introduces alien invasions. This is Feeders to Sleigh Bells. I don't think I would recommend watching this. I would, however, watch Feeders 1, which is shot entirely on VHS and looks like somebody's home movie. Yes, War of the Worlds counts as space horror. That is a great question. I think that anything that deals with things that come from space that we don't understand and are horrifying to us and carry these themes of being invaded. I mean, even Alien has themes of invasion with the parasite invading your body and taking it over. Yes, there's a feeders one. I don't know where you can find it, but if you find it, please enjoy.
I kind of love the idea though of
Oh
just
my gosh.
writing, the crowd too. Like
Just the
then,
second one.
yeah, then your movie's like already giving franchise. You're like, whoa, yeah,
Well, and then you can have like the ARG element of like, oh, the first film was lost, and like that adds
yeah,
like extra mystery to it.
yes, I like that.
I like that too.
Lore
And also
Huntress.
feeders, little aliens. They're cute.
I've never seen it. The Ice Pirates is also a ridiculous space comedy, as is Space Herpes.
That
Yeah,
is, I have never
uh,
heard of that one. That's amazing. The Ice Pirates. Okay.
I'm loving these B-sides. This is
It's
fantastic.
beautiful. Beautiful. All right. We have also, I'll just touch on this very briefly. This is a very grotesque movie that you probably don't want to see unless you like very grotesque movies. This is called Extra. It does also take place on Earth. It deals with the alien invasion theme and just explores the grotesque. It's gross. It's gross out horror. Here's my vampires. This is also one I have not seen this one, but I maybe should have put Dracula 3000 on here, but I think that one takes place in space. But anyway, vampires from space, why not?
Okay. Why not? I mean, yeah.
All right. We had Armageddon, which a lot of it takes place in space. We also have Deep Impact, which takes place on Earth, bringing us back full circle to H.P. Lovecraft's The Comet, where we look at the impact asteroid genre.
Ooh,
We've Oh my gosh. We have the sun, which can be a threat. Stars are essentially like nuclear engines, right? And that can be a really scary thing, especially if I think in Sunshine, is it blowing up or going dim? I don't
mm,
remember.
I want to say going dim, and they go in that room and they stare at it with the glasses because it's like that's the last. I can't remember, but that's how I'm remembering. It's like this is the dying sun, and they're going to go in and look
Yeah.
at it before it's gone. Not positive. Also, I think I was wrong on Body Snatchers for the record.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay. This is a forgiving place. But yeah, if you want to see Killian Murphy and be very sad, Sunshine is a great example of the sun itself being a threat. We also have next on the list. I'm a little
yeah.
too comprehensive on these. Oh, yes. Thank you, Mateo. This is a good comment.
This
I'm
looks
biased.
sick from the picture.
Oh
Wow,
my
tell us about
gosh.
this. I've never heard of this movie.
Okay, so this is called The Wandering Earth, and I don't remember why I watched it. It is in Chinese, excuse me, it's in Mandarin, I believe. And in this film, the sun is expanding and it's going to cook the earth, which is horrible. So what do? Do they evacuate the planet? No. They put a big engine on the earth and they shoot the earth toward Jupiter. And it's the best thing ever. It's amazing. Please watch this movie.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're bringing that up. And it kind of engages with what some folks are saying in the comments here. Takashi E88 says there's something about bad horror films that can be cataloged as it's
Mhm.
so good, it's bad if you consume this ironically.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no limits, literally. So the line between the absurd and the ambitious is
Mm.
thin, and
Mhm.
depending on execution, things can get really bad. So
That's
yeah,
such a
I
good
think
point.
that intersects with that, where you're just like firing planets towards other planets.
This
Yeah,
one had a big budget, so it's done very well.
cool.
I can definitely imagine one that's not. And then finally, the last two here, we're going back into cosmic horror, though this time it takes place on Earth. Yes, there can be cosmic horror on Earth. Annihilation is one of my favorite movies of all time. And in it, there is essentially oh boy, I don't know if I want to call it a pocket dimension, but basically, space matter is changing things in a place called the Southern Reach in Florida. And Natalie Portman and a team of other scientists are sent to check it out. It is beautifully done. It's beautifully done. I believe Alex Garland, I believe, did this one. And it's a really great example, too, of cosmic horror. You have animals that are turning into things that aren't themselves. You have plants growing out of people. You have it's just it really prods at the borders of your imagination. Similarly, I think this is the last one. Similarly, on Earth, cosmic horror, The Unknowable, Color Out of Space is another one of my favorite cosmic horror movies. Nicolas Cage and his family are on a farm. This is taken directly from H.P. Lovecraft's short story, Color Out of Space. And it is a family on a farm. A meteorite lands on their farm, and bad things happen. It's actually this film, the writing's a little clunky, but, the special effects for a film this small, the special effects are mind-blowing. So
DL Pittsburgh is bringing up Doctor Who. There's a lot of really good. I don't think anyone's mentioned Doctor Who yet, but there are a lot of really good space horror episodes.
oh,
Laura Hunter says, Sarah, the mimic dance was so disconcerting. Don't know what that is.
that's an
Sounds disconcerting.
Annihilation. In Annihilation where you begin to doubt, like, am I me or am I that person? It is truly, like, amazing space horror, so disoriented, and, like anyway, sorry. I
No,
I get
yeah, no,
excited.
no.
Get excited, you guys.
Let's see a couple thoughts here. I just feel, let's see, I'm trying to,
Well, and we
anything
have
here that you really want to talk about?
yeah, well, we have
Oh,
2 writing
this is from
exercises.
the other, that's right, that's holdover material. Let's see it. Yeah, okay, here's this one. And Sarah, there's another, okay, here, which I know you don't have this in front of you.
No, that's okay. So the first one
The
actually was the 15-minute writing exercise, and then this one was gonna be longer. Do you just wanna do the one that you made, or would you rather do this one and just start it maybe?
I mean, either way, what was the 15-minute one?
The 15-minute one, there was a comment, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was from. Someone earlier was talking about scale and the very small and the unimaginably large, and the prompt was just to kind of play around with that a little
Okay,
bit.
is that the one that I put together, Sarah?
That's the one you put together, and then
Okay,
there's one for a more general that was for writing one scene, very
I
quick
see.
15-minute,
I see.
and then I have
These are
a yes,
specifics. Yeah.
and then these are short story prompts for
Okay.
space horror stories. So it's kind of up
Hmm.
to you what you want to do, um,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to think if there was anything else in the rest of the slides
Oh, you're in there now.
that was
Yeah. So
necessary.
just putting it to the floor briefly, and we will make a decisive decision if we don't get opinions. Don't worry. But yeah, so we have two approaches here to engage with some of these ideas, and the one is kind of a more general, like exercise of sorts, where it is like write something in the super small but trapped, i.e., spaceship, or engage somehow with the cosmic endless nature of space. We also have specific prompts. Maybe we just go to the specific prompts. We've been pretty
Okay.
theoretically.
Okay.
So here are two prompts, and per usual, we're hanging out, we're writing, we're generating. So
Yeah.
as we say, if the muse strikes and tells you to write a rom-com,
In space
then you should
or not
follow
in
follow
space.
your writing heart. But here are some ideas to get the juices flowing, as it were. Two space horror short story prompts. Feel free to expand on the scene you just wrote or explore one of these prompts. Here we go. 1. A weary space miner is finally on their way home from a 3-year job in an asteroid field when suddenly they intercept a strange distress call. Love. An astronaut on a long abandoned orbital station wakes up from stasis to find the Earth below. Wrong. Continents are rearranged, oceans are gone, and something vast in the upper atmosphere is washing the station and moving. Takashi, space opera. I'm in. So,
Yes.
yes, I think also in service of getting published, writing short work, which we are also just trying to do. We're on that mission here in the Discord. I certainly am, Sarah, as we all are. One thing I would say reading these two prompts is these could both be prompts for a feature length film, but I think
Mm.
they could function as short stories. Certainly, a Bradbury would pull something like that off, or an H.G. Wells. But I would also hazard that any scene that you can imagine in these two movies, if you could
Mm.
imagine these movies, could make for a really beautiful short story. So I'm thinking, for example, I might just do the call. The moment when this
Mm.
guy gets the call, he's on his way home, he or she or they, and they're so ready to be home, and they get this call, and maybe that's the whole moment.
You know
Right.
what? I
So,
love that. Asa,
yeah.
you are so good. I just want to say real quick, I come from a like long form background, writing novels, writing long series of things. Asa comes more from the short story side of things. And so, like he's so good about knowing what works as a short or flash fiction story prompt and what works as maybe a feature or novel sort of prompt, which is what I keep leaning toward. So thank
I
you for
mean,
that.
you got well, it's either or, you know. I think you can also make, you know, people make feature length films of 10 minutes of time. You know, that happens too. You know, we there's it's you know, time is relative as we know.
It is,
So,
especially near a black hole.
yeah, exactly. So I'm going to add a screen. I'll go back to the prompt. Let me figure out how to do this, y'all, because I also want to
Yeah.
put up a timer. What I was thinking would be a timer.
Yes.
So the thing is, should we have the prompt up or the timer up? I don't know how to do both,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Maybe let's do the prompt and then
Yeah.
we'll say like ready, set, go. And
Okay.
are you okay
Cool.
doing like 15 minutes or did you want to go longer?
Yeah, maybe let's just do 15 and see where we're at and see, I guess, maybe make the goal here. Let's be concrete, goal oriented,
Yes.
always helps. A goal could be to write for 15 minutes and land on some kind of elevator pitch, as it were,
Mm,
since we've been talking about movies, for your story, which would include a character, a setup, and a conflict. So, you know, to riff on my feet with this, stand by, going to get the prompts back up.
yes. Oh, thank you, Laura. Laura says I get your relativity joke. Thank you.
you're, you're seen and heard, Sarah. You're seen and heard.
I feel
So,
so
for
validated.
example, like there's a zillion, and y'all are super smart and don't you got this. But just a quick little interjection here. A version of this could be the one I just described to be like an exhausted miner coming home from space receives a call that his daughter just died and he won't be able to see her. Right. That could be my pitch to this exec in the studio for the movie, you know. So maybe that's the goal. Riff, brainstorm. You know, Sarah and I, for example, are big on paper fans, and let's make
Hmm.
that the goal. That come 15 minutes, you've got an elevator pitch, you've got a concept. So your who, what, where, why, what, how, character, conflict, setup. Bada boom, bada bing.
Wonderful.
And I'm going
Wonderful.
to set the clock for 15 minutes,
All
and
right.
we will reconvene.
All right. I've got my timer here too, set for 15 minutes. All
Okay,
right.
good luck, everyone. And have a stretch. I'm gonna have a stretch. If you need a stretch,
Okay.
let's have a stretch.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're about good. Oh my gosh. Mateo, I think I might have a different character limit than yours. Are you comfortable if I share your pitch, logline, summary in the comments? Sarah, how'd it go for you?
Oh, oh, let's see. My timer just went off. It went fast. 15 minutes, time being relative, even outside of black holes. Just 15 minutes went really fast, but that's a good thing because it meant I was like really into it and having fun. There are some really interesting questions here. Yes. Whether Does anyone know about space jurisdictions? I'm not sure if there's a legal loophole of what you can or cannot do outside of Earth. Um, I suggested maybe it was like international waters, or I know there's also the International Space Station. You might want to look into, depending on how seriously you want to go about it, you might want to look into how that works and functions and etc. But yeah, I'm not sure what applies in space. And Mateo says explicitly, I'm not a space lawyer, which is now a new life goal. So not sure if that applies in space or just international waters. Yeah,
Right.
not sure. I mean, because
Well,
that could be a really fun like premise is like space is like international waters, so like it's just drug trade and like that's like what space is used for. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, why not put a legal, a few good men in space or,
Yeah.
okay, so let's go through some stories. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear. Sarah, did you come up with like a little summary logline you want to share?
Well, I have you know what?
I mean, you could
I
say
have
no.
something written down and I don't like it. And just to keep things real here, I don't think I'm going to share it. Is that selfish? Is that bad?
I think that speaks to your self-respect as an artist and
Oh
writer.
my
Yeah,
god. Well, I would hope so. Because
I think
it's
that's
like I
great.
came up with the prompts and then it's like I can't even write on them.
I think that's okay. I've got one here
Okay,
that
please
is an
share. Thank you.
extension of that initial idea I was riffing with. A mourning space miner sneaks the body of her friend onto her return ship and in secret works to preserve her body.
Oh, oh, that's so compelling. Oh my
Right?
gosh.
I
Like I
feel like
feel
I was
that.
directly inspired from the body horror and the it kind of ties in with this legal stuff. You're just not allowed to do certain things in space. Like I'm sure, well, I don't know. Mateo, I'm going to share yours. Here we go. Hopefully this
Oh
cuts
boy.
through. Oh, it came through in two comments. Here we go.
Okay.
This is Mateo Leon Rodriguez, author, writer. He's on YouTube. With an exhausting 3-year long asteroid contract completed, Jebediah Marshall is finally on his way to home to Earth. If he's lucky, he will even get to be there for his daughter's 5th birthday.
Oh
Unfortunately
no.
for him, his life is about to get a lot more complicated. His ship receives a distress call. All he could make out is a female voice saying 3 words: baby, thing, help.
I love
Wow.
it. I love it. I love it. Those 3 words particularly, we were talking earlier about, the motherhood aspect of, like, the movie Alien and a lot of other space horror movies. That's fantastic. Oh, we have some more coming in.
Takashi, a human, wakes up in the recovery chamber of a space research facility. Their only memory is getting back home, but with a biohazard on the loose, they need to find a way out.
I love that human is in quotes. That just says so much.
Yeah, me too.
Balloons for you.
Balloons for you, Takashi.
Oh, a
Anyone else?
human.
Anyone else got something they want to share? If not, that's fine too. Um, I have a rehearsal to get to for Diario de Terror.
Oh my gosh, will you tell us just 1 second about that? Is that
Yeah,
happening this weekend?
si viven en Ciudad de México, hay un evento este fin de semana. There is an event this weekend in CDMX, Mexico City. Horror stories curated by me, 8 writers, 8 actors. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, they're rehearsing. They're rehearsing that today, so I need to
Good.
book you shortly. But let us share everything that you need to know.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah and I are learning a lot with you on YouTube. Wednesdays, short stories from this book. Dana, I'm going to read that. Oh my gosh, Takashi, that means so much. Takashi Yi 88 will be there with family.
That's very sweet.
The Dark Descent, horror stories on Thursdays. On Friday, we're writing. Are you part of the Discord? No, I don't really do Discord, but this is really cool. You're absolutely right. It is. So here it is in the link.
I
Uh,
love the way you put that.
I mean, that was me when I was like, Discord, what? I was like, oh my God,
Well, now you're a
what?
member of like 700 Discords.
This is what happens when you join the internet.
Mhm.
DL Pitchford, this is rough, but when name wakes up from stasis, the station is dark and barren with a dwindling life support, and name is alone, at least as far as she can tell. Are you trying to say she's not
Yeah.
alone, Dana? That there's something else
Yes.
there? Love it. Great.
Yes.
Y'all, we're grateful for you. We appreciate you. Like this video if you found it useful. We would love to see this video exist on the internet and grow this community. Anything you can do to support that would be appreciated. We're building community and it's very exciting. Sarah, anything else you want to add before we sign off here?
No, just let's see. Come to our story clubs, like you said, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, presently happening at 10 a.m. Central. Otherwise, I'm just so excited that you were here today. Thank you for being here. This is you being willing to listen to me ramble on and on for way too long about my favorite space horrors. And this wasn't even all of them. I'm very grateful that you are willing to be generous with your time and be here with us today. And hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you learned a little bit or at least got a cool idea for a story of your own. So
Bye for
that is
now.
what I have to say. All right, friends, take care. And Asa needs to get going. So we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.